Hey, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, SBC 205, Public Speaking. I am again your public speaking instructor, Vic McGinnis, live on tape from my COVID-19 compound in Grovetown, Georgia, the Acotech Outpost in lovely Columbia County, Georgia. Today, our lecture is brought to you by coffee. Coffee. Because some people think it's too early to drink bourbon. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about following up one more time just before you have to get ready to give your speeches. And we'll be talking about, and I'm turning the volume down on mine because I don't want the computer pinging all the time. We'll be talking about the announcement I posted on Blackboard today concerning your your persuasive speech, and then we're going to talk about go over the rubric just to make sure nobody has any questions. Okay, just if you want to go look at that announcement on Blackboard that's entitled Persuasive Speaking, it says basically that your outlines and a link to your YouTube file are due to me by the 12th of noon on 16 April. That's a week from today. You will need to post two things in the discussion boards, and I will later on this week open up a discussion board that will say post your the link to your YouTube video and your outline here on Blackboard. You will post the link to your speech on Blackboard and your outline in the discussion boards. Do not email me your outlines. I'm not going to look at any outlines that are emailed to me. If you have access to the discussion boards, post everything on the discussion boards. There will be no draft outlines for this speech. I will not be giving you feedback. This is throw the baby bird out of the nest sort of moment where you're going to be expected to do it on your own. You've had plenty of opportunities. We've lectured many times, so you should be well engaged on that. So, and then I posted 5 bullet points there to make sure you understand when you post your videos. In order to grade your nonverbals, I'm going to need to see you on tape from head to toe. I do not want to see any disembodied heads. I'm going to be watching this on a Mac with a big screen so that I can, really look at you. And if I see nothing but a disembodied head talking to me, it gets really freaky. You're going to lose all your nonverbal points or most of your nonverbal points. So really focus on making sure I can see you from your feet all the way to your head. Run a couple of tests. Make sure your audio levels are good. I know most of y'all are going to be using the built-in microphone on an iPhone or a Android. Those are really great microphones these days. They're really high quality, but if you're talking like in a basement where there's a lot of echoes or something, or if you're going to be particularly far removed from the microphone, you need to make sure you're heard. So click on it, run a couple of short test videos just to make sure that you can be heard. And so that, because if I can't hear you, I can't grade your speech, and you're not gonna get the grade you want. Try to give your speech in a distraction-free area. I've had students that have gotten A's that have had dogs walk in and lay down on their feet, and they just kept going like it didn't happen, and that's fine. I don't, lower your grade because of distractions, but I am going to say this: you might have struggles with it, so try to make sure the dogs, the kids, anything else that may be going on, TV sets. One of the problems I oftentimes have is people will do, and one specifically that jumps to mind was that a student was trying to give a speech while apparently the kids were in the next room watching SpongeBob, and it became very hard to hear the speech. So that had an impact. Then make sure your YouTube video is marked public. Again, I'm not going to have time. I'm going to get 88 speeches in one day, and I'm going to have to about 3 or 4 days to grade all of them. I'm not going to have time to go back through and sort out with you whether or not it's public. What I would recommend you do is to contact a friend, phone a friend, and say, hey, listen, I need you to check this and make sure that you can see it. A lot of times you click it, and because you're already logged into YouTube, it obviously lets you see it, but then it's not marked public. I've even had that problem with the lectures I've posted here in the last couple of weeks. So I would double check, because if it's marked private, if I can't see it, I will try to send you an email, but I will have to submit grades fairly quickly after that. So I'm not going to have time to chase down every single person if they have a problem. And then you are going to need to set up a YouTube account if you don't already have one to complete this assignment. You can't upload videos to YouTube without an account. So go ahead and get that done. I included a link with some nice graphics that will show you how to upload a YouTube video. It's really fairly simple. There's that little movie camera looking icon in the upper right hand corner. You click on that, it will say upload video, and then you just follow the steps. You select the file. It's all relatively easy. I will hope to post a persuasive speech for you later on today. Hopefully, and then in just a couple of minutes, we're going to be talking about the rubric. So I'm trying to think. Something else popped into my mind, but then it just vanished. But hopefully it'll come back while we're talking about the rubric. Okay. The rubric is been already uploaded onto the documents page, so let's go ahead, and if you could call that up, I will pause for a moment, and you can either hit pause until it comes up, or if you do it quickly enough, you'll be done. But go ahead and call up the Persuasive Speech Grading Rubric. Okay. So this rubric, it looks just like a lot like every other rubric. It's going to be worth 125 points. We'll start at the top. Outline again worth 20 points. You'll be given a grade out of 20 out of 20. Okay, your introduction is worth 15 points. Now it's a little change here. Your attention device is not, the first speech, your informative speech, I graded you on whether or not you had an attention device. Just having one. And then on the second speech, it was, did you have one and did you do it well? So if you had one and you didn't do it well, and a lot of you got the feedback that you need more vocal emphasis on your attention device. So that gave you partial credit. For this speech, for the persuasive speech, you will be graded only on the effectiveness of your attention device. Clearly, if you don't have one, you're going to lose 3 or 4 points. If you do have one and you don't do it well, you're going to lose 3 or 4 points. We've been talking about the entire semester about vocal emphasis on that attention device. You're going to have a good, solid attention device that really garners attention. Okay? Then we'll move down. Statement of purpose, preview of the main points, speaker's credentials. Hopefully at this point in the semester I shouldn't have to talk to you guys about that. That should all be fairly straightforward. Organization is going to be worth 25 points this time. And by organization, I'm going to want to look at your outline, see that you've got some sort of development of your ideas, that you're really hitting all your points from a persuasive perspective, and that you're following that organization all the way through. And that's going to involve explicit transitions between the main points. All those internal summaries we've talked about. All of that will need to be in organization. It's not going to be problem solution like it was last time, or it's going to be, did you organize it well? Then your conclusion is going to be 15 points. It would just simply be, it'll be like 7 points for that restatement of purpose and 7 or 8 points for that review of your main points. You notice here I did not put in the call to action at that point. That doesn't mean it's not going to be graded. We're going to see that a little bit further down. So up to this point, so we're looking at 55 points, or well over almost half the grade here, is going to be grading on the same stuff we've always graded on. Your introduction with its 4 parts, which we've gone over time and time again. The organization, which again, it's broader this time, worth more points. But again, you guys have been doing really well with those explicit transitions between your main points, walking us through your speeches. That's going to be 25 points. Then you're going to have your conclusion for 15 points. Now, again, I expect to see all 3 parts of that conclusion. It's just that call to action, that closing statement, which in this speech has got to be a call to action, is going to be further down. Now, use of evidence, there's 4 blocks here. It's only going to be, you're only required to do 3. But again, you're going to be, that's worth more points now, because in the last speeches we had some people that were offering, problem solution speech. They were offering solutions with no evidentiary support. Okay, that can't happen this time. I'm going to be not only looking for having 3 pieces of evidence. You guys are clearly capable of doing that, but I'm going to have to see you use it appropriately within the speech. Okay, I'm going to have to be able to show, you're going to have to show me that you're using your evidence to support that persuasive intent. Okay? Nonverbal delivery, same as always. Actually, it's the same points from last time. Eye contact, posture, gestures, and vocal delivery, all relatively the same. Time limits, exactly the same. 4 to 6 minutes, 10 points, it's an all or nothing. Just to let you guys know, and I'll say this now, there is no reason your speech should go under time or overtime in this format. Okay? You should be able to go back and time your speech, and if it didn't come out at the right time, if it's 3 minutes and 55 seconds, go back and redo it. Okay? That's a practice run. Go back and talk slower. If you do your speech and you look at the tape that you're getting ready to upload to YouTube and it's 6 minutes and 8 seconds, you need to go back and either cut some of your speech out or speed it up or focus it or something. Okay? There will be no leeway on this at all. And again, I tell you, at 6 minutes and 15 seconds, I am shutting off the tape. And if you haven't gotten to your conclusion yet, you will get 0 on your conclusion. But again, I'm not going to I have no way of knowing, and I no plan on trying to find out how many times you have done your speech on tape before you upload it to YouTube. Okay? So the one thing that everybody should get 10 out of 10 on is time, 4 to 6 minutes. And remember, I will start timing when you start speaking. I'm not going to look at the time on because you're going to have a couple of seconds. You're going to have as much as 10 seconds before and 10 seconds afterwards while you're turning the tape on and off. I am not going to, I am grading the speech, not the time on the video. Okay? Everybody should be clear about that. All right. Persuasive intent and effectiveness. We've discussed this a little bit in the last lecturette I posted. I'm going to sort of stress it again today. Persuasive speaking is deliberate. Everything, every word, every gesture has to be done with intent. So when you start discrediting or waffling on your own persuasive intent, you're going to lose points. I'll give an example. When you get to your conclusions, if you say, "So today, I hope I've persuaded you." No, you don't hope you persuaded, because if I'm not convinced that you persuaded me, I'm not persuaded. You're weaseling out of it. You're using minimalizing language, and you need to get that completely out of the speech. Okay? I think you probably agree with me. No. First of all, number one, don't think and don't probably. Okay? Persuasive language should be absolute. Hey, today we have all agreed on this idea. All right? Today I've been persuading you to believe this. All right? Don't hedge. Now, a lot of you are sitting out there saying, and I hear it every semester over and over again, but won't that come across as arrogant? Won't that come across as unsympathetic, unaware of what's going on? We can debate that all day long as to whether or not that's actually true. Now, if you come across as, well, if you're as smart as I am, you now believe, yeah, that's going to come across as arrogant and condescending. But for most people, they will not pick up on and have a negative reaction to you saying, "So today, we've been talking about changing your behaviors on this topic." Okay? So, but they won't react to that. But if you say, "Hey, today I've been trying to change your minds," be absolute. Don't try. Don't say probably. Don't say I hope. Don't say any of that. Get all of that out of your speech when you practice it. Tape it. Go back and listen to it and see if you're using those waffle words, those weasel words. Probably, maybe, hopefully, I think. Get rid of all of that and stand up there in front of the class, or pretend it's a Zoom business meeting or whatever, and say, "Today we have talked about why you should change your attitudes." Okay, don't say, "I hope, I think I've changed your mind." Say, "We've been talking about why you need to change your behaviors." Okay? That's persuasive language. And again, that call to action, as we've discussed before, is you, as the very last thing you say before you walk off the stage, telling them what they need to do as soon as the speech is over with, or the idea that they need to carry out the door with them so you will achieve the change of behavior you wanted. Again, the most frustrating example that happens over and over and over again in my classes, and it's come up so many times in the last 2-3 years, is the speech on why you should adopt instead of buy a new dog. Okay, they're great informative speeches about how there are too many dogs, the kennels and the shelters are euthanizing millions of dogs. If you buy a dog, you're not helping that at all. How horrible puppy mills are, and if you adopt a dog, that's all great. But then they just sit down. They don't tell us, and then their call to action is just simply, so today I hope you feel more like adopting a. No, you have to give us something to do. You have to give us an action to take. Okay? It's got to be a physical action done in the real world for this speech. Yes, there are persuasive speeches that are involving just a change of attitude. Okay? And that's a little bit different. But if you can do a call to action involving a change of physical behavior, okay, you can do anything you want to with a persuasive speech. I need to get you to jump over that higher hurdle so when you're out there in the real world, that lower hurdle will be easy for you. Okay? So again, persuasive intent effectiveness, 25 points. That's 20% of your speech. It's going to be, do you use persuasive language? Do you say you will? Do you say we are going to? Or do you say I think, or I hope, or I tried? Okay? Don't be humble. Don't be overly braggadocious, but don't be humble in this. Use absolute language and feel comfortable with it. And then again, I expect you to close this speech with a call to action, telling us all what we need to do to accomplish that which you've told us about. Okay? All right, so I've been going on for about 17 minutes now. As always, I am open for questions. You guys can email me. A couple of you have emailed me questions that I've turned into Blackboard posts. Blackboard announcement. That is fantastic. You get a gold star in my book for doing that. Again, remember, let me go back and check and make absolutely sure I'm giving you the right date and time. Your link to your speech on YouTube and your outline have to be posted in the discussion boards by 16 April. Okay, 16 April, 12 o'clock noon is the cutoff. If you post at 12:01, I am not going to guarantee that speech is going to get graded. Okay, with everything else that's going on right now, with us shifting over and looking at the potential, I will probably find out around the 16th of April whether or not we're going online for full summer classes, and that's going to take a lot of extra effort before summer classes start. So I just need you guys to be cognizant of that if you post late, I'm not going to make any promises about seeing your speech. Inevitably, when this happens, people write me and say, "Well, will you review for half credit?" I got too many irons in the fire. Things are too crazy right now, as all you guys know. So please, you've got a week. The last couple of weeks of this class have been sort of stretched out and really slow because we haven't been able to do things like watch videos and stuff like that. So please, 12 noon, 16th of April. You've had this, it's a week in advance. You've got plenty of time to do a 4 to 6 minutes of persuasive speech. Okay. If everything goes well, and I thought I was going to get this done yesterday, and then I started getting calls from scholarship donors. If everything goes well, I will be posting a persuasive speech either later on today or first thing tomorrow for you guys to look at. It will be done in the upstairs hallway of my house. It will be done under the exact same condition that you guys are going to be doing speeches under. So hopefully it will give you a good idea of what exactly it is I'm looking for. So we will get that up. I will be back in contact with you. I will probably send out an announcement reminding you of the deadline for posting your speeches. Plus, we're going to have a review for the final, hopefully sometime next week. But I will be back in touch with you on all of that later on. Listen, we're in the middle of this thing. We're all stressed out. We're all, for you guys that are working, that still have to go to work, hey, God bless you. You guys are out there on the front lines. I'm really hoping you stay well. For all you other guys that are stuck at home like me, I'm having long conversations with my dogs now. So that's where I'm at. So hopefully you're dealing with all of this fairly well. Stay safe, stay well. We're really looking forward to seeing you, and I'm really looking forward to seeing these persuasive speeches. So we will talk soon. Get those persuasive speeches done, and we will talk to you sometime in the near future.